Nah. Nah, nah, nah. See, I wasn't even gonna tell this one because every time I think about it, my hands start doing that thing where they just tremble. Not from fear, from the audacity. From the absolute, uncut, industrial strength betrayal that walked into my salon wrapped in a bridesmaid dress and a fake smile. Check this out. I watched a bride on her wedding day in front of 200 and something guests walk up behind her own sister, grab a pair of clippers, and buzz right down the middle. You heard me, down the middle. And the worst part? Every single person in that ballroom understood why. Nobody moved. Nobody screamed. They just nodded, like church. So yeah, we're going there today. Listen, if you're new around here, you stumbled into the right chair, baby. I've been behind this styling station long enough to know that salons don't just hold hair. They hold secrets. Confessions. War stories. I got a vault so deep, it could fill a Netflix series. 7 seasons, no filler episodes. And I crack that vault open right here, every single week. So if you mess with drama that comes with receipts, that subscribe button is right there. Tap it. Turn on notifications. Because the stories I drop, they don't recycle. They escalate. Now settle in, 'cause this one right here, this one had me locking my salon door and pouring a ginger ale like it was something stronger. So basically, I got this client. We gon' call her Monique. Monique been sitting in my chair every 2 weeks for about 3 years. Silk presses, protective styles, trims, color, the whole menu. We tight. Not just stylist client tight. Like, she calls me when stuff goes down. So one random Tuesday, Monique walks in for her standing appointment, and she is quiet. And if you know Monique, that woman is never quiet. She's the one who got the whole salon laughing before I even draped the cape. But this Tuesday, her eyes were swollen, lips dry. She sat down in my chair and just stared at herself in the mirror, like she didn't recognize her own reflection. I said, "Mon, what happened?" She took a breath so deep, I thought she was about to float away. And then she told me everything. So Monique had been engaged for about a year to her fiancé, DeAndre. Good dude. Calm, worked in logistics, drove a nice truck, no drama. At least, that's what everybody thought. Monique's younger sister, Tasha, was the maid of honor. They were close, like matching tattoos close, like shared a bedroom growing up close. Tasha helped plan the entire wedding. The venue, the flowers, the playlist, the seating chart, everything. Monique trusted that girl with her whole chest. Now, the wedding was on a Saturday. Friday night, rehearsal dinner night. Monique realized she left her veil at DeAndre's apartment. She drove over there around 11 p.m. to grab it real quick. She got the spare key, let herself in, and I'm telling you, she said she heard Tasha's laugh before she even opened the bedroom door. Not just any laugh. That flirty, high-pitched, breathy laugh. The one you never want to hear coming from a room your fiancé is supposed to be in alone. Monique pushed that door open, and there was Tasha. Sitting on the edge of the bed, DeAndre standing over her, his shirt off. Tasha's shoes kicked across the floor. Phone playing some slow R&B like it was a whole mood setup. Now, did something physical happen? Monique said she didn't wait long enough to find out. She said the scene was enough. The candles, the music. Tasha's jacket folded neatly on his chair, like she'd been there before and knew where things go. That detail is what broke Monique. Not the shirt, not the laugh. The jacket folded, like routine, like comfort. Monique grabbed the veil and walked out. No yelling, no tears, nothing. She drove home, sat in her car for 45 minutes, and made a decision. She was still getting married, and she was still going to let Tasha stand right next to her. But Tasha was going to learn a lesson in front of every single person they'd ever known. Saturday came. Monique showed up looking immaculate. I'm talking a custom lace gown, laid edges. I did her hair that morning, by the way, so you know it was giving everything it needed to give. Beat face, nails done, smelling like jasmine and expensive decisions. She walked down that aisle like absolutely nothing was wrong. I was sitting in the third row. She even winked at me. Winked! Tasha was standing up there in her lavender bridesmaid dress, holding the bouquet, smiling like she didn't have a single sin on her conscience. Hair bone straight. Fresh Dominican blowout, 22 inches cascading down her back like a shampoo commercial. That hair was Tasha's pride. Everybody knew it. She posted that hair every other day. It was her identity. The ceremony went smooth. Vows exchanged. Rings exchanged. Kiss. Applause. Everything moved into the reception. Dinner served. Toasts began. And when it was time for the maid of honor speech, Tasha stood up, grabbed the mic, and started talking about how Monique was her best friend, her role model, her everything. And Monique, she let her finish. Let her have every last word. Then Monique stood up, took the mic, smiled, and said, "Thank you, Tasha. Now, I got a little surprise for my maid of honor. Everybody, I found out something last night. Something that broke my heart. My sister, my maid of honor, was at my fiancé's apartment at 11 o'clock the night before my wedding. Candles lit, music playing, shoes off, jacket folded. The room went dead. I mean, you could hear the ice melting in glasses. Tasha's face went from caramel to ghost white. DeAndre, who was sitting right there as the groom, put his head down like a man who already knew the trial was over. Then Monique reached under the head table and pulled out a pair of Andis clippers. My clippers. She had asked to borrow them that morning, and I thought it was for some decoration thing. No. She walked around that table, stood behind Tasha, and said, "You wanted everything I had? Let's start with what you love the most." Bzzz. One clean stripe, right down the center of Tasha's 22 inches. Hair falling onto that lavender dress like dark feathers. Tasha screamed. Ah! Not a movie scream. A guttural, from the stomach, soul leaving the body scream. She reached up, felt the gap, and collapsed into the chair, shaking. Snot everywhere. "Hen Monique?" She set the clippers down on the table, turned to the guests, and said, "The marriage is annulled, but the food is paid for. Enjoy your night." Then she picked up her dress, walked out the ballroom, got in her car, and drove to her mama's house. I sat there with my mouth open. The clippers were still buzzing on the table. The sound of that motor humming in a silent room full of 200 people, I will never forget that sound. It sounded like karma warming up. Monique came into the salon the following week, sat in my chair, and the first thing she said was, "I'ma need my edges touched up, and I'm returning your clippers." And she laughed. First time she laughed in weeks. She told me she didn't keep DeAndre. Filed paperwork Monday morning. Tasha tried calling every day, blocked. Their mama tried to mediate. Monique told her, "Mama, I love you, but she is no longer my sister. She's just somebody you also raised." That line sat in my spirit for weeks. So here's my question for y'all today, and I want real answers in the comments. If someone you loved, blood-related, ride or die, your person, did this to you the night before the biggest day of your life, would you have even showed up to the wedding? Or would you have disappeared and handled it in silence? Tell me. Because I genuinely don't know which one takes more strength. And listen, if you got a story that's been sitting on your chest, something wild that happened in a salon, at a wedding, at a family dinner, wherever, send it to me anonymously. I will never use your name. I will never reveal details that trace back to you. But I will make sure the world hears it. Because stories like these, they don't deserve to stay buried. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Stay blessed, stay petty aware, and whatever you do, don't fold your jacket at nobody else's apartment.